In activity 3.2, let's take a look. Learners are grouped into different teams based on the letter of their surname. That starts with A through to G will be in team 1, H through to O in team 2, and P through to Z in team 3. So in this case, the user can enter the surname and choose the type of item that the learner can compete in. The name and item the learner will take part in must then be displayed in each team's colors in the rich edit. For example, team 1 is red, team 2 is green, team 3 is blue. Also make use of the following procedure with parameters, a method of the class of the form. Here we've got procedure display info, which is C team, which is a char, S name and S item, which are strings. This is the name of the procedure that we have to use. You will see in this case that there is input, which is going to enter the surname of the person and the type of item. The processing and the output will take place in the procedure display info. Let's go to the program. In this case, we're going to put all our variables here again at the top. So what do we need to enter? The person's S surname, which is a string. Also the person's item, which is a string. So both are inputs. Then we're going to have S output, which is going to be our string. Then we have to write there procedure display info. For this we have to use procedure display info, which we call the C team, which is a char. So we will say there C team, which is a char, and then name, item, which are strings. S name, comma, S item, which are strings. Remember, what are these things all about? They are the door to the house. You stand outside with a bowl of water, you put it inside the door. Someone comes and picks up the bowl of water and takes it inside the house and uses the bowl of water. So in this case, we've got 3 doors. The one is a char and 2 are strings. Please note the following. This is variables or formal parameters, and they belong to display info. Those belong together. But you now can see, apologies, that should be S surname. But you will see now that I've also created variables with the same names as part of the private of the class T-form. How do we distinguish between the two? I'm going to show you now. This are variables that belong to this class or form. Those variables belong to display info. Control-Shift-C. Let's just put the 2 forward slashes and save. Let's start with the input, process, output first. So in the display, I'm going to do my input first. So remember now, I want to assign to those variables, in this case, S surname, S item. So how am I going to distinguish between them and those ones which are the same names? I'm going to do the following now. I'm going to say self dot, and take a look, EDT surname dot text. Surname, there it says variable, variable, variable. Those ones belong to the class itself. Here we've got our little procedure, display info. Do you see? Those ones belong to display info. They do not belong to the class, otherwise they would have been here. So we want to assign to S surname in this case. So I'm going to say self.S surname colon equals EDT surname dot text. So that is to input my surname. So I'm using the self keyword to reference that particular one. It's very important because there's a difference. Those belong to the class itself as variables, but those belong to display info. They don't really belong to the class. So in order to distinguish, I put the word self in front now. So the next one would be self dot, so what am I looking for? S item. So S item colon equals, where am I going to get the item from? I'm going to get the item from my Radiogroup RGP item. So I'm going to put there RGP item dot, I'm looking for the items, but I'm looking for a particular item. So I'm going to call RGP items again, dot item index, square bracket. So that takes care of my input. Now we need to go and do the processing and the output. The processing and the output in this case will be in display info. So I'm now going to call display info. Interesting. Now they say put in there a character for the team that the person belongs to. Where do we get that from? Based on the letter their surname starts with. So I'm going to call the self.surname, self.s surname, square bracket 1, because that's going to give me the first letter. Comma, I should call the surname, so I'm going to say again, self.s surname, comma, self.s item. And now inside here, I'm only going to use those ones. So I can't use the word self in front because they do not belong to this. If I'm going to use self dot in here for the process and output, I am actually going to assign to them instead of using them. Okay, so S output is going to be the following. I can also say the following. I can say self.s output. I can do that as well. So what do we need to do? Based on which one they are, they're either A through to G is team 1, H through to O, team 2, P to Z, team 3. So what should it be? Should be displayed in each team's color in a reach edit. So team 1 is red, team 2 is green, team 3 is blue. I'm just going to call there the team 1 red with the person's name and item. Okay, so depending, so first of all, I have to call the S surname. I'm calling that one over there. Plus a space plus S item. I'm calling that one over there. Remember, this is our doors. The doors you put in a bowl of water, someone come and take them and use them inside the house to do something. Now we have to work out what team they belong to. So I'm going to use a case statement because we can use case statements with chars and integers and booleans. So case C team of. So the first one is A through to Z. So single inverted comma capital A to G colon. Please remember, when we do something like this, whenever there's an if statement or a case statement, or when we're checking strings, always to upcase if it's a char, upcase with a char, and uppercase with a string. So upcase is char and uppercase is string. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to say self dot s output colon equals self dot s output plus, or apologies, we need to say it like this. They say team 1. So we have to say there team 1 round bracket plus whatever's in there, plus self.output plus single inverted comma. This will be the red team. Like that. I'm going to copy that, paste it once, paste it twice, and I'm just going to change it. H2O, that's going to be H, that's going to be O, and that's going to be team 2 with the color of green. And the third one is P to Z with the color of blue. So the process is here, and then the output would be in the red output or in the red out dot lines dot add, and we're going to say self dot s output, where self refers to our variables there. Let's just take a look to see if the program is working. So I'm going to put in there voila. I want to do shot put team 1. Let's put in there Zulu. It's going to do a track event. Blue, oops, team 1. If you forgot to change that. Team 1, team 2, that should be team 3. Let's run it again. So Zulu, hop, skip and jump, hop, skip and jump. Abed, team 1. Shunzu, let's do a long jump there, team 3. The important thing here is that when you refer to these variables and you've got formal parameters of the same type in your procedures where you do parameter parsing, in order not to get confused about which one you are using, if you're going to use this, you have to put the word self in front to show that it belongs to that particular one. Otherwise, if you just use it there inside the display info, you're just going to use it as is without the word self.